Hi everyone, I'm Monique and I'm back today with a 6x8 layout, and I'm going to be using 2 of the 3 lovely freebies available over at scrapbook.com as part of their Cyber Monday sales. I've linked it up for you below, but one of the freebies is this lovely little mini black soot distress ink, and the previous item I showed you, which is the gorgeous gold glitter pops of color, which is brand new to scrapbook.com. There's also a metal die that is also for free, so you can add all 3 of those to your cart at no extra cost. Now I'm going to be making a 6x8 page as part of my December journal, and it's not a size format that I've used really before, so this is a totally new size for me, and I'm starting off by doing some stenciling in the background. So I'm going to start off with the metallic gold ink pad, and I'm just lightly going over that stencil. I want the dots that I'm stenciling to be not very uniform, so I don't want the color to be totally even. So I want some to be darker, some to be lighter, and some of the edges to be more prominent than others. So I'm kind of just going over it lightly and not being too particular about getting them all exactly perfect. And there you can see those spots. Now I'm putting the stencil back on, but I'm offsetting it slightly. I don't want to go over the exact same spots again. Now I'm taking this another distress ink. This is Evergreen Bough, and I'm just going over just in a few different places. I'm not going to be doing the full page like I did with the gold, and then I'm also coming in with some barn door and dotting about a little bit of red. So I'm going to go back and forth between the green and the red, just adding some color to the background in amongst those gold spots as well. Now because I've offset the stencil slightly, I'm going to need to do a little bit more stenciling over to the left. You can see a thin strip of white there, so I want the pattern to continue off the edge of the page. So I've just moved the stencil over, and that mint tape that I'm using from scrapbook.com is really handy just to hold everything in place so that I can make sure those dots are evenly spaced. Now I've grabbed another distress ink. This is cracked Pistachio, and it's a slightly softer green, and I'm just going back in and I've put the stencil in a different position because again I want those dots to be offset. Now I do wipe my stencil between using the different colors. I did make the mistake of not doing this, and then I spread some of the previous color, so just make sure you give it a wipe before if you changing colors. Now I'm just coming in with a little bit of Spun sugar. It's a nice soft pink distress ink, and it just adds so much lovely color and interest to that background. It makes me think of confetti. Now you may remember my previous video where I made all these lovely stars using the Rudolph red and holly green pops of color, and I did some stamping in them. So I made all these embellishments, and I had in mind that I would be making a Christmas layout with them, and they're going to be perfect for this 6x8. Well, at this point I think they're perfect, so we'll see how it turns out. So I'm just having a little play to see where I think they'll go. Now, with the foundations page for a December album, you don't really use a photo as your starting point, which I do find a little bit tricky. So you'll see what I do in a moment to help me get over that hurdle. But in the meantime, I've got this teeny tiny little star stamp, and I'm just inking it with some black soot and doing 2 to 3 impressions with each inking. And I'm just kind of dotting those little stars around in clusters around those die cut stars that I created, and I think that just adds some nice interest to the stenciled background as well. Now I'm not quite done with my background. Once I've finished my stamping, I'm going to come back in with my stencil. I want to really add a little bit of shimmer to that background, so I'm now putting the dotty stencil on a diagonal because again I want those dots to be offset and not in the same position as any of those other dots in the background. And I've just squirted on a whole bunch of the lovely gold glitter pops of color, and I'm just smearing it on. Now I don't want it to be perfectly evenly spread. I want there to be kind of haphazard dots, if that makes sense. So I don't want it to entirely cover the background. I want there to be some spots of sparkly areas and then other areas without sparkle. So you'll see I'm coming in here with just a few little extra spots, and I'm carefully kind of filling in those areas of the stencil just so that I can be quite specific about where those sparkly spots are going to be. Now these sparkly spots really add such a lovely festive feel to the page. I love the intensity of the gold of this glitter. Now in my previous video when I was making the star embellishments, I used the champagne pops of colour, which are equally beautiful. It's a slightly more softer gold colour, I suppose more like champagne, whereas this, the gold glitter pops of colour are a richer shade, and they really are perfect for Christmas time and just adding that extra little bit of sparkle. Now I'm done with the gold pops, and I am loving those little spots of sparkle that I've added to the background a little bit haphazardly. And now I just want to cut out a little tag for the background. As soon as I took out my metal dies here, I actually wanted the in-between size, but I must have dropped the die because I'm always doing this. I'm always losing my metal dies, and it's always the one that I need. So it will turn up in the chaos that is my craft room. But anyway, I'm going to be using this smaller little tab die from the set, and I'm just going to be cutting that out. I'm not 100% sure yet where I'm going to be using it, but I thought it would be quite a nice addition. I love this pattern paper from Vicki Boutin's Warm Wishes collection. It's got lovely little Christmas sentiments all over it. Now, I don't intend to put this 6x8 page into a plastic sleeve, so I want to make kind of an edging on the side for it where I can punch in some holes so that I can put it into my album. So I'm using this lovely green plaid, also from Vicki Boutin's Warm Wishes collection, and I've just measured my page. It is 6x8, but I want to make sure that that edging is exactly the right width and size. So I've made that piece 6 centimeters wide, and so folded in half, it's 3 centimeters, which gives enough space for there to be a lip sticking out the side and for some to stick behind the layout. Now I used my little mini circle acrylic block from, should I say acrylic circle, from scrapbook.com, and I used it just to make indents on either side of that piece, which I cut off so that it kind of looks like a tab. And now I'm just kind of measuring where those circles for my album are and punching the holes, and I'm going to add some eyelets just to give it a little bit of extra stability. So this tin of eyelets belonged to my gran, and so I've never had to buy eyelets because she had quite a stash, and I've inherited those from her. So I've just found 2 little gold eyelets, and I'm pressing those in place. And I really do love that extra touch of gold, just echoing the glitter on the 6x8 page. Now I had added 2 layers of stitching all the way around that 6x8 page, but once I'd stuck down that little green edging on the side, I did another layer of stitching all the way around just to kind of help secure that in place. Now I've taken a little glassine envelope, which can easily be made with the likes of vellum or something like that. It's a sheer kind of paper, and it's nice that you can see something through, and it's perfect for sticking little tabs in and tags just for extra journaling or any little bits and pieces that you maybe want to tuck away, but you don't really want them to be a main part of your layout. Now, as you can see, I've included a photo. I was finding it really hard to focus my layout without a picture to work with. So I've decided to borrow one of last year's photos. It's a cute picture of my kids all dressed up festively for their school Christmas party, and it's just the cutest photo of them. So I'm using that picture and kind of building my embellishments around them, and I can easily just take that photo off. I've not stuck it down with very sticky adhesive, so it should just lift off, and I'm going to be quite careful when I put down my embellishments that none of them are actually stuck to that photo. Now I love that little tag that I've tucked in, but it's a different green to the green on my stars, so I've just used some of that same green plaid that I've used for that edging there, just to die cut a few extra stars, just to try bring in that different green to balance the page. And now I just want to pick out some little numbers to add the date. So I'm just having a little look through, and I settle on these lovely little gold numbers. This is a gorgeous sticker book. It's an exclusive from scrapbook.com, and there's a good selection of alphabet stickers in there in different fonts and sizes, which is quite nice, as well as some little sentiments. So now I'm just sticking that pocket down, and then I realize I better get these little stars that I'm going to be tucking behind that pocket ready to stick down, because my tape run is quite sticky and it'll be quite hard to pull it up once it's all stuck down. So I'm ready to get those stars that are peeking out from behind stuck down as soon as possible. Now that star at the top there, I wanted to be peeking out the top just for a little bit of extra interest, and I've just used 2 little gold staples and stapled it in place, just to kind of bring that gold out again. And that bottom large star, I'm also just adding 2 staples, and you can see I've not added any adhesive to that, so it can kind of just flap forward for me to remove that photo if I choose to. So now I'm just coming in with a few little punched stars in those coordinating colors, just to kind of add around like confetti, and I do fiddle for quite a while trying to get these stars into just the right positions. Now the stars that I've cut from the patterned paper, I've decided need a little bit of something, so I come in with that black soot distress ink again, and just lightly add some ink to the edges of all those little stars. I don't add it to the stars that I created using the red and green pops of color that I did in my previous video. I want to kind of leave those alone, so I'm just inking the edges of the little green and red stars that I've used pattern paper for. Now it's time to get everything stuck down, so I'm using some foam squares just to raise some of these little stars up, and some I stick directly onto the background. And I just really love that there's lots of different heights and dimension, and I feel it just adds so much interest to the page and just gives it that festive feel, like the stars are popping off the page. I really, really do love the texture, and that's part of the reason why I don't want to put this into a plastic pocket, because I want to be able to touch and feel the page and really just see that dimension without anything getting in the way of that. And also because I've tucked those tags into the little pockets, I want to be able to easily take those out to read what I'm going to write on them. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are 3 lovely freebies available from scrapbook.com, and they're available until the end of the 30th of November as part of their Cyber Monday sales. They also have up to 50% off of Tim Holtz products, so definitely worth stopping by to have a look. I have put a link for you down in the description box. It is my affiliate link, which means that you can shop at no extra cost to yourself, but I will receive a small commission from any purchases you make using my affiliate link. I am so very grateful for all of your purchases that you've made using my link, and if you choose to support me in this way, thank you very, very much. Now back to this page that I've been spending quite a while sticking stars down, and even longer with the little gold 14, which I can't seem to find the right spot for. So I've tried it on one of the stars, I've tried it on the tag that's tucked in the envelope there, I've tried it on a teeny tiny tag, I've tried it on that top star, and finally I'm settling on this bottom star. Now I want to add that little Festive Days tag at the top there, but I want it to be under those staples that I've already put into the star. So I've pulled them out and I'm just going to re-staple those in place, and I'm really happy with how that's looking. I've created a diagonal from the top left down to the bottom right, which I often gravitate towards, and now I'm just coming in with some red and white twine just to tie around that smaller tag, and then I'm going to do the same with the larger tag, the green tag, and I'm going to be using like a brown and gold twine for that one, just to add a little bit of gold to the thread as well. And around these tabs I have also done some gold stitching, so I'm just loving the gold that's kind of echoing throughout this page, and it really just has such a nice festive feel to it, which is exactly what I've been hoping for. Now last but not least, I want to stick down a couple little sentiments from this little sticker book, so I'm opting for ones in gold text, and I found one that says today, but I don't want to put it under the 14 because it looks like 14 today and nobody's turning 14, so I put it under the little Festive Day tab, so it could read Festive Day today or just individually. And then I've chosen another little one that says hooray for the bottom, and I really, really love those. Now I am so chuffed with how this turned out. I love that gold glitter. I feel it really just adds the perfect touch of shimmer and those little stamped stars. And I love the little tucked away tags that can easily include more photos or journaling as well. Now to decide if I can bring myself to swap the photo out to a current one from this year or just leave this as is. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching me create this page today. I hope you've seen something that gives you a new idea and that you get to create something lovely for yourself too. You can also find me on Instagram at handmadehappy by Monique. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!